Which trends do you see in your format?
On the retail side, we're actually seeing a growing trend of mall tenants expanding into the open air retail space. So most recently, Lord & Taylor launched a concept called Find. Nordstrom, historically, which is a mall tenant, has years ago launched a concept called Nordstrom Rack. And Macy's just launched Macy's Backstage in the last couple of years. And they're identifying the open-air retail parks as the opportunity to expand their concepts, find new ways to grow within the U.S. market. And because we target and penetrate more areas than just a few, as the malls do, they are identifying that they can actually have greater accessibility to the shopper on a regular basis. Okay. So from a retail side, that's what we're seeing, as well as the increased demands of food services and sort of the lifestyle concepts.
In terms of economic model, is there a big difference between the shopping mall and the retail parks? I mean, in terms of rent and cost of operating?
Absolutely, it's a great question. The cost to operate both ourselves and for the retailers is substantially less than it is for the malls. And so when you're looking at a more competitive environment today, you are seeing that this becomes a much more attractive option.
Retail parks in France used to be an addition of big boxes with, very popular retailers. But the experience was really weak for the consumer. And now that we are making much different retail parks with an extremely different experience for the consumers. All the retailers that were normally only developing in downtown or in shopping malls, now they are coming to taste low-cost rents and low-cost charges in the retail parks. And they discover that the economic model is much more resilient in the retail park than in the shopping mall, to my point of view.
So will the shopping centers lose in importance? Are retail parks the new, cheaper shopping centers?
The retail parks, to my point of view, is a lower cost shopping center, open air shopping center. And the big shopping center will always have his, will be useful because he has a huge power of attraction. But the small shopping center plugged on the hypermarket with only 40 little shops, to my point of view, doesn't bring anything better than the new model of retail parks, but with rents much, much higher. So all those retailers are now coming in retail parks. That's something we feel in France today. 47% of the square meters of retail in France were those big boxes with no experience. And the consumer were feeling very, bad treated. And now they see that they have the same, a wider offer with a low-cost offer. Okay, we need to make better, but not give them the impression that it's going to cost them more. And it's not the new retail parks is not a mix between a shopping center and a retail park. It's something new that is, to my point of view, more compatible with the economic moment that we are living with. Flat growth.
Our strategy is to reuse if it's possible. Of course, in a new market is not possible. But in Europe, we thinking that we have a lot of empty space across the city. And if you can reuse this space, of course, you have to have a anchor or something very strong. And we try to do our best with Italy. But mixing the marketplace with selling items, cooking school, we have enough to staying alone, and we are quite lucky to reuse and to give opportunity to the surrounding area to renovate it. This is one example. Invest private money to give also a new life of quarter of the city.
We start, in fact, from the idea that the consumers start becoming boring about a traditional shopping experience, particularly for food, just a place with a marble and glasses to go and shop and buy food. They want to be more and more informed about the quality and the origins of the food that they are buying, and they want to have a place in which they can get fun, they can have some even education, training about food. So starting from this idea, we generate the project. Is called Italy World, because in fact the aim is to be a Disneyland for food.
Well,
The retail
I was
park
talking
today is
about
not a
Australia.
place where you come with your car, just park as close as possible to a shop, or even if you could park in the shop, you would do it. Now we just drop the car in a very fancy parking area, and then you walk, you have an experience. We have marketed something that we call the F experience, which is offering to people what a screen, a phone or iPad will never offer to them. An experience,
In a retail
easy,
park.
comfortable, with friends or with family, and I mean offering to those people who are not rich consumer a rich experience.